Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Lisa Erickson with your self-care tip of the day. Today we're going to discuss positioning over our self-care tools for working on the underside of the forearm. Doesn't matter what type of tool to start out with, first we want to be very soft and gentle, and then as that tissue warms up, going to a more difficult aggressive type tool. Let's discuss positioning. So first, the biggest thing I want you to understand is the closer our body is to the area that we're rolling, the more pressure we have on it. So those of you which are rolling with the roller way out in front of you, that is much harder for you to get the amount of pressure that we need to get rid of knots. So instead, I'd rather have you have that tool right by your side so that we can really position our weight over it. So if this is our self-care tool, getting right onto the table and leaning on that, and see how my self-care tool is right underneath my shoulder. I can prop it right on the table, have my body right along the edge of the table while I weight it, and then I can very correctly find the knot and trap the knot without having to have our roller way out there. So the idea of rolling on a roller works, but it is also a misnomer. We don't have to always be rolling around on a roller to get self-care work done. So I would like you to think instead of rolling on to the knot, and then when we find a knot, which can be a sore spot or a twangy tight muscle fiber, then we're just going to sit on it. So elbow by the side, put it right under the center of the forearm, and then we can roll back towards the knob of our elbow. Right in the center is where the most contractile muscle tissue is, so that is the area we want to be focusing on. But we can also get all the way up into up closer to the wrist. So dealing with muscles, really deep in this, almost against the bone, is the flexor digitorum profundus, which does the distal finger, and a flexor a superficialis. Both of those are really quite deep underneath the surface. The one that is right on the top is actually palmaris longus, which is a wrist flexor. So if you are feeling knots right on the surface, that is mostly the muscles that control your wrist. When in doubt and we don't know what that muscle does, that's where we stick our finger on it and then try different motions to see what motion you feel that muscle underneath your fingers start to move, and then you can go through and kind of work back and see what muscle it is. So if it moves when you bring your hand to the side, that is a flexor carpi ulnaris. If it moves when you bring your wrist to the inside, that is a flexor radialis. And then if it is just in the center as you flex, that's palmaris longus. So getting on these knots, weighted in the center, and then as you find a sore spot, I want you to sit on it and wait for that knot to let go. If it is right before we climb, we want to do more of a pressure to that knot, so 10 nice presses. So pressing into that 10 times will help that to let go. And my roller is actually on the surface. Let's see if I can adjust this so you can see it better. There we go. So my roller is actually sitting on the surface of the table. I'm leaning up next to it. If you weight over the top with your other arm, we have more pressure applied, and I'm actually leaning onto it so we can roll forward and backwards. Finding the knot, we can tip our thumb up to get more onto the outside. I found a nice knot there. Or we can thumb down and lean out more to get deeper underneath the forearm. So more towards the inside belly of the forearm. So just finding a knot and sitting on it, I'm on a knot right here, 30 seconds up to a minute and a half. You don't have to sit on the knot for an eternity. If you feel pain into your hands or a pressure that travels through the forearm, that's totally fine. As my tool here is soft and squishy and made of rubber, I'm not going to do any damage, but if you're pushing with a golf ball or something that is really quite hard, you really want to be soft and gentle with this. So that is your tip of the day for positioning. Be nice and close to your tool, position it right by the edge of the table, and ensure that your center of gravity is right over the top of the tool so that we can really weight it. These little muscles are needing much more pressure than sometimes the larger muscles. So ensuring that we are pressing with enough force to be able to feel that knot talking to us, but not so much force that we are creating a lot of pain in that area. So let pain be your guide, and let's see how that goes. Have a great day.